Press Pass with Jack Ebling, Mid-Michigan's spirited sports debate. Now let's get talking sports. Here's Jack.
Great evening, Mid-Michigan and beyond, and welcome to Press Pass here on Fox 47. It's time to meet Team 361, Darien Harris, 5-year MSU linebacker, co-captain of the 2015 Big Ten champions, also member of a college football playoff team, aspiring broadcaster, and Michigan State football's first director of player engagement. Darien, in your 27 years, have you ever seen a week like this one?
No, I definitely haven't. I mean, it's, being from the D.C. area, I remember the week of the D.C. sniper. And that situation, it might have lasted longer than a week. I was close to 9/11, because it hit in D.C., of course, and as well as New York. So that was a strange week, but I was, 8 years old, third grade. This week, it may top them all, just with everything going on. And it ended in tragedy again. Definitely want to say rest in peace to Chadwick Boseman, who's played so many iconic black, historic figures and just seemed to have so much more life and so much more to give us. And the fact that he had a 4-year battle with colon cancer and didn't let us know is unbelievable. But it's been a crazy week, and we just have to keep pushing on. And
you mentioned first we lose Black Mamba.
Yeah, then we lose the Black Panther in the same year. It's unbelievable.
I've heard from coaches and athletic directors that they can handle adversity, they can clear hurdles, but the thing that's hardest for them to deal with is uncertainty, the unknown.
Absolutely.
They got a lot of it right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Also want to welcome in Graham Couch. He is the sports and more columnist for the Lansing State Journal. He's a strong recreational hooper, and he is co-host of Couch in the Rube weekday afternoons on the Spotlight Radio Network. Just in front of the Drive with Jack. Graham, you did an important piece this week talking about schools and the decisions and the methods of reopening. What did you learn?
Yeah, that a lot of people are trying to do what's best for their kids and through tough decisions. And look, the data doesn't make it easy because we've actually done pretty well here in Michigan. And if you look at the positivity rates of cases, down around 2% or lower, a lot of states, everybody be back full go. You look at the number of positive cases per million in communities. It's not as great, but there are a lot of things we've done well, and people are trying to do what's best for their kids. And there are so many advantages to being back in school that people understand that as well.
There are going to be some positive cases. We know that. What makes for a successful school year?
Really, it's getting through it without outbreaks. I think it's having as much time as possible in the classroom eventually for everyone. Because kids need that. They need that fellowship. They need that interaction. This is a pretty miserable time for a lot of people.
We will be back in just a minute, and we're going to talk about this wild, wacky week, starting with the NBA, the Milwaukee Bucks, and the boycotts that evolved from that. We'll be right back here on Press Pass.
Time to get your game on. Sports wagering is now open at the all-new Dacey Sportsbook and Tap House, only at Firekeepers.
We are MEA, a foundation of collective strength, an advocate for education. K-12 educators, support professionals, and higher education employees, united to support our students, our schools, and our community. Together, we are the shield protecting every student's right to succeed. Michigan Education Association. Champions for education.
During the Labor Day sale at Furniture Row, the more you buy, the more you save.
We saved $100.
I saved $200. Save $100 on every $1,000 you spend on living, dining, bedroom, and mattresses.
We saved $300.
Check out doorbusters while they last and score free gifts with qualifying purchase. Plus 5 years no interest and free shipping. Shop the largest selection at the lowest prices guaranteed. The Labor Day sale, on now at Furniture Row.
LA's Finest premieres September 21st on Fox. It's another fall Friday night, and your kids should be
Playing high school football.
It's a fun game, and it's safer than ever.
It's safe because the rules, the coaching, and the equipment are better than ever before.
As a result, serious injuries are at an all-time low. Seriously.
And build
Strong schools, lifetime memories, and tomorrow's community leaders.
And it's mother approved.
It's a great game, and we want to teach it to your kids.
They know all of your secrets.
I used to wet my bed.
Ross used to wear leg warmers.
Your middle name is Muriel.
Ross still sees his pediatrician.
Chandler entered a Vanilla Ice lookalike contest and won. Ross came in fourth and cried.
Joey was in a porno movie.
Ross married Rachel in Vegas and got divorced. Again.
But they love you anyway. Friends.
Friends comes to Fox 47 and My 47 September 14.
Welcome back to Press Pass here on Fox 47. It's time for The Big Picture, brought to you by Dean Transportation. Dean is hiring caring and dependable people as school bus drivers in many Michigan markets. Be a hero in your community and safely transport children to and from school with Dean. For more information and to apply, visit deantransportation.com/jobs. That's deantransportation.com/jobs. Here you see the Milwaukee Bucks, and they are meeting the media and making public their decision that I think caught the Orlando Magic by surprise and much of the sports world, that they were not going to play in the NBA playoffs, and we know what happened from there. Darien Harris, did the Bucks' decision signal a seismic shift in terms of player power and political awareness, or did it just postpone the NBA playoffs a couple of days?
Yeah, I think there was a shift. I think seismic shift would have been if they decided to leave the bubble. Mm-hmm. And that's originally what I thought was going to happen. I thought they were going to come together as players, meet. LeBron, of course, would have probably led the charge, and they would have been out of there. And that was the first report. It said Lakers and Clippers are out. They're done.
Yeah.
And when that didn't happen, I was still very proud of them. It obviously set off a rift throughout all of sports. The MLB postponed games, the NHL behind Evander Kane postponed games. I thought that was major. It definitely created a shift. I think a seismic shift would have happened if they had ended the bubble.
Michael Jordan got involved in this. Barack Obama was involved in this. Graham Couch, did you think at that point when the Lakers and Clippers said, we're out, that was the end of the 2020 season?
I did, and I think that would have been an appropriate response given how much this meant to them, and I think how frustrated they were in that bubble, because I don't think they could see their impact or their potential impact either. You know, you're down there with no crowd, you're down there in this complex, and so I can understand the frustrations. I think they actually made the right decision in terms of their maximum impact right now, because if you do leave the bubble, it's not that you can't be active in your community and do a lot of things, and that can be just as healthy if that's what you want to do. But you're not going to have a bigger platform if you go away and the NFL comes up and other things start being played. I think ultimately they walked away from playoff games. There was a ripple effect, as Darien said, and then they come back with everybody knowing they're serious, knowing that it could happen again, but now still with a massive platform.
This was too complicated to have unanimity. And Graham, we heard that there were spotlight concerns, as you said. They would not have had the forum they will have now throughout the course of the playoffs. And there were also some legitimate salary concerns from players who were not multi-millionaires. And, maybe they had a mortgage. They're thinking about this. And there's some real world considerations, too.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a big sacrifice to ask of everybody. You know, these people come in all sorts of salary scales. It'll be interesting with the NFL when that happens, if there's a feeling of this within the league, too, because you've got their fewer guaranteed contracts, shorter careers, and people have to take care of their families first as well. And so I think that this to me was the absolute right move. But if they had all been in agreement the other way, I think that would have been okay too.
Darien, you love all sports. How surprising and revealing was it to see the response from Major League Baseball, the talk of actually boycotting some NFL regular season games, but also WNBA, that's not too surprising, but National Hockey League, Stanley Cup playoffs, we saw it with European soccer, and even individual sports like tennis.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was all pretty surprising. NHL probably the most, just based on demographics, but it was commendable and honorable of them to respond in that way. And again, they got behind their African-American players that they had, and I think that really makes a huge impact. It makes a profound impact. You know, Naomi Osaka said, you know, I'm not playing. She ultimately did play and then pull out for a hamstring. But even saying that, especially in the individual sports, she's the biggest draw.
Yeah.
So that costs the entire league money. That's how you make change, and I think that's what we're happening. We're seeing now with arenas that all of a sudden polling locations. It's kind of mind-boggling that wasn't already the case, and they had to fight for that to be the case. So that shows the change that these players are making in the country.
Graham, we heard Jared Kushner's reaction to this and his shot at NBA players. Are we ready for the kind of factionalism that we're going to get this to be a flashpoint for the 2020 presidential campaign the last 67 days?
Yeah, I don't know if we've been ready for any of this the last, I mean, this is a pretty jarring time in our history. And I think it's good. I think the fact that we're all involved, I mean, we talk about midterm elections and how few people vote. I mean, everybody, that should be the most important thing we do. Wherever you are on any spectrum, you should be voting. And you see that now that people realize that that's how you get in the room where it happens, so to speak. You've got to, that's where you can exercise your voice. And look, it's going to be that way this fall. It's going to be a fascinating couple months and a little scary.
One thing we know, Darien, we're going to have NBA arenas are going to be polling centers. We have seen more of that, and especially in LA, we know how active LeBron James has been in that and more. We will be right back. Our Take It to the Banks segment coming up next here on Press Pass.
At Graf Chevrolet in Okemos, you'll always get a great deal on a huge selection of high-quality used cars and trucks. But you'll also get something else, peace of mind. Every Graf used vehicle purchase comes with up to 6 oil changes for the first 2 years of ownership. We'll also give you free tire rotation with every other oil change. Always a great selection of used vehicles starting from $1,000 and up. Check them out at grafokemos.com. Lower your cost of ownership with our Peace of Mind program, only at Graf Chevrolet in Okemos.
What's really important to me is being able to have a partner, and Dart Bank has been that for me. I'm Eric Nelson. I'm a managing partner here at the English Inn. I've worked with John Morris at Dart Bank to help put together multiple projects that have assisted us with growing our business and continuing to be successful.
Bring on the apron!
This September, don't miss an all-new season of MasterChef JUNIOR.
Stop. Who cooked that?
With new judge Daphne Oz, and we're charging into new territory.
It's slimy! Ew.
Cross our hearts.
I need help.
And hope to fry.
Careful.
Ooh.
Is it cooked?
Hopefully.
MasterChef JUNIOR season premiere.
I think there might be a lot of drama.
Put your finger inside there.
This September on Fox.
To fix the economy, we have to get control over the virus. I'm releasing a plan to save lives in the months ahead. We need increased federal support for testing, doubling the number of drive-through testing sites. We absolutely need a clear message from the very top of our federal government that everyone needs to wear a mask in public. Every single frontline worker should have the personal protective equipment that they need to be safe. We need to support schools and childcare programs so parents, if and when they can return to work, are confident that their children will be safe and cared for. And finally, we need to protect the populations most at risk, our seniors, vulnerable populations with pre-existing conditions. We need real plans, real guidelines with uniform nationwide standards. It's a simple proposition, folks. We're all in this together. We got to fight this together. We'll emerge from this stronger because we did it together. I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
Welcome back to Press Pass here on Fox 47. It's time for our Take It to the Bank segment, brought to you by Dart Bank, dedicated to meeting the needs of our banking community for more than 90 years, with 4 convenient locations in Mason, Holton South Lansing, Grand Ledge, and the expanded Home Loan Center in Frandor. That's Dart Bank for what matters most.
Football is not important today. On Sunday evening, Jacob Blake, an unarmed black man, was tragically shot in his back 7 times in front of his girlfriend and in front of his 3 children. The Detroit Lions organization is going to make a stand that what happened to Jacob Blake is not okay, and we're going to speak out on it.
The Lions.
Darien, how difficult is it for NFL players with such short career spans, roughly 3¼ seasons on average, to make these kinds of decisions, these kinds of sacrifices with such firm commitment, and are they ready for the blowback?
I think it's extremely difficult because of just what you mentioned. I mean, this is these guys' livelihood, it's their job. I think people forget that from time to time. We understand it's a, quote unquote kids game, but it's a job and it's their business, how they feed their family. And the blowback that you're going to get is always going to be, it's going to be pretty noticeable because, certain sides of the country, certain political sides, wherever you fall on that spectrum, is going to have a problem with athletes and anybody outside of politics speaking up about politics. It's the shut up and dribble, keep politics out of sports kind of mantra that has, really plagued our society for a long time. But I think these athletes are saying no more of that. We're going to speak up, and they're doing an excellent job of that.
Graham, one of the first things we learn in J School is follow the money. With so much at stake for everyone in the National Football League, how does that shape this debate?
Well, it's a factor. I mean, it's a factor for the owners. It's a factor for the players. But and if it also means what the sacrifice is made if somebody walks away from it, or speaks up and risks it. I think is something to commend. But there's no question, money is a factor in all of this. I mean, it's a factor at the college level. It's a factor at the pro level. It's a factor in it's a factor in politics in our society and who sees what and how.
Darien, talking about pro football, if we switch to the college game, the Big Ten, basically with a freshman commissioner in Kevin Warren, will he be viewed as one of the smartest, bravest leaders in sports, or as a former commissioner in 6 to 12 months based on events that he can't control?
Yeah, it's tough because he can't control it. But I just think that what's important and most important to continue pointing out is he acted in the best interest of the student athletes, or what his dad had told him was the best interest of the student athletes. And so many people are trying to throw politics and all these different things into the bucket. To me, it had nothing to do with it. So I think that 6 to 12 months from now, ultimately, you got to see what happens with the other conferences as they start to, try to start. And college football did kick off last night. And then you also have to see what happens with possibly playing, the spring season, which is the talk right now. So if that's able to happen and it goes successful and smooth, I think he's able to continue. And I think that history should ultimately look back on his leadership and commend him for it.
2 years ago, I'm pretty convinced of how this would have come down. Jim Delaney would have decided, he would have told the presidents what was in their best interest. They would have said, okay. And that would have been it. Now we have athletic directors think they're in control, don't know how much influence Kevin Warren really had. But we've got an issue with the MHSAA and high school sports in Michigan as well. And Graham, we were talking earlier about the governor being involved in this now. Where do we stand, and who's going to make this call?
Well, it's interesting because at one point it looked like the season was headed to the spring. The MHSA wants to look at having it in the fall again, and they're sort of putting it on the governor. Leadership is sometimes disappointing people making the hard decisions. I don't think the MHSA really wants that burden. I think they see the value in playing now. I do think the governor has to speak up, though, and he probably needs to do that this week.
There was a college football game last night. We're going to talk about that and Michigan State football and basketball up next on Press Pass.
If your credit card debt is out of control, if you're in over your head in monthly payments, there's a secret the credit card companies don't want you to know. If you have more than $10,000 in credit card debt, you have the right to let us settle that debt for a fraction of what you owe. That's bad news for the credit card companies, but it's great news for you. We're Credit Associates, and we're offering you free information on how to completely resolve your credit card debt with a monthly payment you can afford. To see how much you could save, call now. 1-800-922-1305. Don't declare bankruptcy. Don't consolidate. Give us 10 minutes and we could save you thousands. After all, we depend on your success and offer a guarantee so there's no risk to call. Credit Associates. Live better, debt-free. Find out how easy it is by calling now. For the secret the credit card companies don't want you to know, call Credit Associates now and see how much money you could save for free. Call 1-800-922-1305.
Know the day's weather before you walk out the door.
Fox 47 News.
What's really important to me is being able to have a partner, and Dart Bank has been that for me. I'm Eric Nelson. I'm a managing partner here at the English Inn. I've worked with John Morris at Dart Bank to help put together multiple projects that have assisted us with growing our business and continuing to be successful.
A new day dawns and we greet it with gratitude, thankful for the heroes on the front lines taking big risks daily to keep us safe. We at Dean Transportation stand at the ready with them, supporting our communities in their time of need. We've been delivering food and medical supplies, volunteering our time, and boosting morale to keep spirits high. Our passengers may have temporarily changed, but our commitment to transporting your most precious cargo has never wavered. Dean Transportation, working together, delivering the good.
That's all special effects. Or was it? One host, one time. I love my kids so much. I just want to squeeze it. Host a new daytime show. It's got my name on it, but it's all about you.
The Drew Barrymore Show premieres September 14th on Fox 47 and My 47.
Welcome back to Press Pass here on Fox 47. Time for our Going Green segment, brought to you by Graf Chevrolet and Graf Nissan on West Grand River in Okemos. With 106 years in the automobile business, they'll take great care of you, as they have on all 7 of my leases and purchases. For a new or used vehicle, go green, go Graf.
C.J. Evans in the backfield. He's the true freshman. And right away, Holtzfall is going to keep it. Pitch it to Evans. Evans, a nice block outside. And Evans has room. C.J. Evans makes a guy miss. And you wanted college football. First play, touchdown, Governors.
75-yard touchdown run on the first play of the 2020 season. And the Austin Peay fans united screaming, "Let's go P." That's what they do. Darien, could you have scripted a better start to the season than that, or a better finish than the dramatic comeback 24-17 win for Central Arkansas?
No, you couldn't, especially in this year, 2020, a football game that we, for a long time, probably didn't think was ever going to happen, and now it did happen, but now only half the country is getting a chance to play, and then it starts like that with that type of play, that explosive play, and ends like that in dramatic fashion. I mean, it goes right along with what's going on this year, and as we go through college football season, which is, of course, again, cut in half in terms of teams and stuff like that, I just honestly can't wait to see how it unfolds day in and day out.
A lot of people waiting for football. They'll take football of any kind. Probably the last time we'll talk about Central Arkansas and Austin Peay on this show.
Probably, but they may have had the highest rated college football game ever because everyone is anticipating it so much.
Graham, looking at the Power 5 conferences, do the SEC, ACC, and Big 12 start as scheduled, and what kind of culmination do you see to this season?
Yeah, I think they're going to play, and I think they may finish. Once Texas Tech plowed right through 21 COVID cases and then blink, I said, boy, you know, look, these guys are determined to play. The political winds in their areas are behind them playing. You know, it's all about how much you can stomach with some of this stuff, and they appear to be able to stomach quite a bit. And you have to root for them. It's a weird thing because, right, you don't want the Big Ten to look awful in its decision necessarily, but you also don't want people to get sick, and you want sports to be able to happen.
So what happens if these seasons for these three conferences last 4 games?
Well, then, I think that's the big thing. There's so much unknown. And that's a fair answer, too. And I've been critical of the Big Ten in its communication here, but there are smart people who really don't have an idea what's going to happen. And you're talking about medical people who don't know where this is going to go. And it's very possible. And those, depending on the reason they are cut after 4 games, there'll be a lot of criticism.
Darien, in a start again, stop again world right now, how difficult would it be for the Big Ten to reverse course and now suddenly start a season on Thanksgiving as opposed to the plan I thought was in place, either starting in January or at the end of February, and giving it more time for rapid testing, maybe even a vaccine, for the weather to change, for the collegiate experience to be there?
It would be extremely difficult because of the mindset and mentality of the student athletes. I think that's what gets lost, and believe it or not, as hard as that may seem to be true in all of this. We're talking about collegiate athletes, not professional athletes. You got school still, you got tutoring, you got, social life, which obviously is not so prevalent right now with COVID, but in terms of networking and the different things that come with being a college student. And right now, your mindset right now, especially for the Big Ten, is I'm in off-season mode. So I went from camp mode and season mode back into off-season mode.
Right.
Lifting, running, conditioning. Now I got to switch gears back into season mode again. It can't happen.
And Jim Harbaugh at Michigan didn't want his players to go into off-season mode, so they have this pro showcase, the idea of keeping his players ready. And I think he's thinking, hey, you know what? If it does turn out that we play on Thanksgiving, we're going to be ready.
Yeah, and I think the benefit that they have is they've had their coaching staff in place. With us having a new staff, we needed to set a foundation, which we're able to do right now.
Graham, we have spent so much time this summer talking about college football, but college basketball, still some uncertainty there. The idea of a bubble concept, would that work? And the 2021 battle for Atlantis, the field was set for that, and you see Michigan State heading that field. They also have UConn, Syracuse, Arizona State, Auburn, VCU, Loyola of Chicago with Drew Valentine, assistant coach, and the Bears of Baylor. But that's a year off. Michigan State has a tournament in Orlando. Do you expect that to come out without a hitch?
I don't know. My gut is they don't start till January 1st. I'd love to say I'll be there covering college hoops. It's what I love to do. I also don't know what the media experience will be, so I frankly don't know if we'll be traveling, if it'll be worth doing that sort of thing. I suspect there's going to be a lot of talk of bubbles, and it might just be a Big Ten bubble starting in January.
Well, hey, if they got college basketball and Graham Couch isn't there, we know it's a serious problem. We'll be right back. We're going to talk about the surging Detroit Tigers, now 500. Law of the Jungle up next.
A new day dawns and we greet it with gratitude, thankful for the heroes on the front lines taking big risks daily to keep us safe. We at Dean Transportation stand at the ready with them, supporting our communities in their time of need. We've been delivering food and medical supplies, volunteering our time, and boosting morale to keep spirits high. Our passengers may have temporarily changed, but our commitment to transporting your most precious cargo has never wavered. Dean Transportation, working together, delivering the good.
At Graf Chevrolet in Okemos, you'll always get a great deal on a huge selection of high-quality used cars and trucks. But you'll also get something else, peace of mind. Every Graf used vehicle purchase comes with up to 6 oil changes for the first 2 years of ownership. We'll also give you free tire rotation with every other oil change. Always a great selection of used vehicles starting from $1,000 and up. Check them out at grafokemos.com. Lower your cost of ownership with our Peace of Mind program, only at Graf Chevrolet in Okemos.
Anyone who's had our chicken knows it's plump and juicy. What they may not know is that it's also 100% natural.
All our chickens are certified, humanely raised, no antibiotics, on a high-quality diet of soy and grain.
Why are they called tenders?
They're called tenders because they come from the tenderloin of the breast, hand-trimmed just for colors. It's not a strip or a finger, it is the true tenderloin.
I'll put our chicken tenders up against anybody's.
That's like my Granny Franklin used to make. That's outstanding, Craig.
Welcome to Delicious.
We are MEA, a foundation of collective strength, an advocate for education, K-12 educators, support professionals, and higher education employees, united to support our students, our schools, and our community. Together, we are the shield protecting every student's right to succeed. Michigan Education Association. Champions for education.
During the Labor Day sale at Furniture Row, the more you buy, the more you save.
We saved $100.
I saved $200. Save $100 on every $1,000 you spend on living, dining, bedroom, and mattresses.
We saved $300.
Check out Doorbusters while they last and score free gifts with qualifying purchase. Plus 5 years no interest and free shipping. Shop the largest selection at the lowest prices guaranteed. The Labor Day sale on now at Furniture Row.
Welcome back to Press Pass here on Fox 47. Time for our Law of the Jungle segment, brought to you by Woody's Oasis on Trowbridge Road, your healthy alternative to fast food. Eat Woody's and live longer. That's why I'm there every week.
Strike one, Miguel swings and lifts a high drive right field deep in the corner. Cordero going back, looking up, and it's gone, a home run. High fly ball that just kept going right in the corner, tucked it inside the foul pole. Miguel Cabrera's second of the year with his home run in the first inning. Miguel Cabrera moves into the top 5 all-time in Tigers franchise history for total number of extra base hits.
Miguel Cabrera, big weekend. Where has that been? Graham Couch, we said that we wanted the Tigers to play meaningful baseball in the second half of the season, not realizing the second half of the season now is going to be about 5 weeks long. But for the Tigers, what does it mean that they've had this surge, 7-2, in the last 3 series?
Well, what's impressive is to lose 9 in a row and not have things go totally haywire. And you lose your first baseman, who looked like he was going to be a real threat for you. And there's just been a lot of poise. And the bullpen, which has been abysmal over the last few years, has been strong. And they've had decent starting pitching here and there, and just a lot more pop than we've seen in a long time. It's fun. They look competitive. They look like they're in it, and they look like they're not. They've got some resolve to them, which is a really good sign.
Darien, besides that extra base hit, we saw today the 2,000th hit as a Detroit Tiger for Miguel Cabrera, and he stepped out of the dugout and he saluted all the empty seats at Comerica Park. What does it mean that at least he's having fun again?
It means a lot, and it was fun to see him do the, curtain call, because it's still going to be televised. People are going to see it. I'm sure people were at home cheering. And look, the thing about athletes, and you look at a guy like Miggy, who's put together a Hall of Fame career, so many times we build these athletes up to tear them down when Father Time inevitably catches up with them. I mean, how many Tom Brady's or LeBron Jameses are out there? There's only 2 of them. So you're always going to get to a point in your career when you start to fall off and you start to kind of deteriorate and retract a little bit. And it happens to everybody. It's just a shame that we can't celebrate them more for what they did because of what they're currently doing. So it's good to see him having fun, and I hope he gets a chance to ride off into the sunset.
Graham, when the Tigers lost those 9 in a row, did you think this might be a record season for futility? Did you ever imagine they'd get back to 500?
Not at all. In fact, on Couch in the Rube, we do a thing every day where we bet against the Tigers. And last year, we had a lot of fun with it. This year, we did not have fun because they started winning. Then we started betting for them. They lost 9 in a row. Then we went against them. They won 5 in a row. This is fun, though. This is what you want. This is competitive baseball with some young players who might be around in a few years as they build. This is what, a year ago, you couldn't look on that roster and really find anybody you thought would be around the next time they were a contender. And you're starting to see that. And you've got a team with a new wild card situation where you've got, 16 teams in the playoffs. Yeah. It's like a game out. I mean, that's just fun right now, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. When you think about this 7-2 surge, this is the first time the Tigers have won 3 series back-to-back in 28 months, and the first time they have swept the Twins in 47 months, just about 4 full seasons. What does that mean?
Well, I thought the big thing was getting the off the schneid against the Indians, to be frank.
Yeah.
I thought that was really, really important. That was in the psyche of this team. They were struggling, and to take 2 or 3 from them, I thought was really, really important.
Yeah, well, they only lost 20 in a row. So, you know, I looked at the schedule then, and I said, you know, this team might win 21 or 22 games. And I guess anything is possible. But if you look at the AL Central standings here, you got 3 teams up at the top, and the Twins were first. Tigers took care of that, knocked them down. But you really have 3 tiers. You have 3 teams that are vying for a division title. You have the Tigers, 500, and then you have the Royals after that. Darien, dare we dream? Is it possible we could have postseason baseball in Detroit?
Yeah, I mean, it is possible. I mean, you look at last year's World Series champs for the Nationals, they were under 500 for, you know, a duration of the season. People counted them, of course, all the way out. They come back, make the playoffs, get a big run. It could happen, especially in a season like this where it's just a little bit over a third of the games. You know, you're cutting 164 down to 60, and then you get opportunities. You know, it's less opportunities to mess it up and more opportunities, I feel like, to make up some ground and surprise some people.
Graham, Washington, a lot of people's choice to be back in the World Series to defend a championship, and the Angels, maybe right behind the Yankees in terms of American League predictions. What does it mean that the Tigers have better records than both those teams?
Well, it means they're not a doormat anymore, and I think it means they're on the other side of the rebuild. You know, for a while it was, you didn't know how much farther they were going to fall, and that was really frustrating. And so to be on the other side of the rebuild, I think is really heartening for those of us who enjoy watching them play in the summer.
We will be right back, and we're going to be talking about the NBA. They actually did play games. We'll talk about that, beginning the second round and finishing the first round of the playoffs, including a game tonight. We'll be right back with that and much more coming up. Press Pass here on Fox 47.
At Graf Chevrolet in Okemos, you'll always get a great deal on a huge selection of high-quality used cars and trucks. But you'll also get something else, peace of mind. Every Graf used vehicle purchase comes with up to 6 oil changes for the first 2 years of ownership. We'll also give you free tire rotation with every other oil change. Always a great selection of used vehicles starting from $1,000 and up. Check them out at grafokemos.com. Lower your cost of ownership with our Peace of Mind program, only at Graf Chevrolet in Okemos.
Today's a celebration, and it's strange to say that in the storm that we've been in. But my mom always talks about focusing on the rainbow at the end of the storm, and today is that journey. 40 years in history we're getting ready to mark, and it's my mom's birthday this weekend, so what a better way to kick it off, Madre strong, just the way she would want it, smiling down from heaven, just making sure she knew everyone were gonna be okay, and kicking us off for the next 40 years, and we're just excited.
Howard Wolowitz, cool, redefined.
A new day dawns and we greet it with gratitude, thankful for the heroes on the front lines taking big risks daily to keep us safe. We at Dean Transportation stand at the ready with them, supporting our communities in their time of need. We've been delivering food and medical supplies, volunteering our time, and boosting morale to keep spirits high. Our passengers may have temporarily changed, but our commitment to transporting your most precious cargo has never wavered. Dean Transportation, working together, delivering the good.
Sports give so many opportunities to kids. It gives them an opportunity to see where they fit within a team, persevere, understanding how to work with different personalities. Those are the lessons that will make you a successful adult. As a mom, you have to have an understanding of what concussions are.
Concussions are things that are treatable. If we take care of athletes, they will be able to develop and have a long, happy, healthy life.
The Ticket Machine is your local connection to concert, theater, and sporting event tickets nationwide. Our entertainment experts are ready to help you create a memorable experience, trusted by fans for more than 20 years. Whether you're looking for tickets for your corporate outing, family excursion, or vacation, we offer the best seats and the best prices. Grab a front row seat now on theticketmachine.com.
Welcome back to Press Pass here on Fox 47. Time for our Tracking a Trophy segment, brought to you by the Ticket Machine at the corner of Mount Hope and Hagedorn. For the best in sports and entertainment ticketing, whenever those events resume, go to theticketmachine.com.
Been someone who's been at the forefront of change. I mean, you've warmed up without a college logo on. You've made stances on your own. I just want to hear your initial reaction. to finding out that the Bucks were not going to play?
So I was born into the NBA family, and it made me extremely proud that my brothers didn't actually shut up or dribble. And over the last maybe 3 or 4 months, our country, during our pandemic, has forced everybody to kind of slow down and reassess everything that's happening. And power and strength is in numbers. And as much as I'm enthusiastic about changes that has happened in our country, I understand that 74% of the players in the NBA are black. 80+% of the WNBA players are black. That's your power. And
Proud Fab Fiver and ESPN commentator Jalen Rose. And when you think about what we have seen in the past week, Darien, will the NBA ever be quite the same, or have we moved to another level?
I think we've moved to another level across all sports, but specifically the NBA, because the NBA has always given their players a certain platform that I think other leagues don't, to speak about and voice their opinions on subjects that truly matter in the country and around the world. So I think that the landscape of the NBA has even changed even more so because of what's transpired this year, and everything that these players do is going to be predicated towards making their community better. You heard Russell Westbrook yesterday, I believe, say that he wants his legacy and people to remember him by how many people's lives he affects. So, you know, there's so many other players across the league that are doing the same thing. So I think that basketball, to be honest, is going to take second fiddle to social justice issues that players decide to take on, and I think it's a beautiful thing to see.
Yeah. You wonder now, with the residual effect, other leagues jumping into this too, if maybe it's going to carry for quite a ways. Graham, a recent study, we talk about race being the elephant in the room, showed that 74% of black Americans describe themselves as devout fans of pro basketball or very interested, 74%. 61% of white Americans said they didn't care, didn't like the league, didn't watch it. What do those numbers mean?
I find it hard to believe, frankly, that 74% of black Americans care that much about the NBA. I mean, I love the NBA. That seems like a very large number for any group. But first of all, if those numbers are correct, more white Americans still love the NBA because there are a lot more white people in this country. I don't know what it means. I mean, obviously there are a lot more black players in the NBA. It's something so that makes some sense to that level. I do think there are more. When you look at white America, more people on other political sides who get it turned off by athletes speaking out. But everybody's got their own thing. Look, I love George Strait, Hamilton, and Tupac, and not really in that order. Like, everybody's got their own things, right? And so I don't know what to make of those stats.
Talking about action on the court, Darien, your LA Lakers beat the Lillardless Blazers last night to take that series in 5 games, 43 points from Anthony Davis. Can the Lakers be stopped if AD and Bron are both at full efficiency?
I don't think they can. It's just a matter of they have to be full efficiency throughout the rest of the playoffs, which is tough for anybody to do, but AD is fully capable of it, due to his age being relatively young, and LeBron I still think is the best player in the world, and he knows how to do this. I mean, he averaged 27, 10, and 10 in this series, and people acted like he had a bad series. I mean, you almost get bored now watching. I mean, I've never, not really, but it's almost like you just expect that from him, and he's so good that you just take it for granted that he averaged a triple-double, and people thought he played bad.
Yeah.
I watched a 3-minute video of so many talking heads saying the Blazers were going to win this series, and the Lakers, I mean, they decimated them. They decimated the Blazers, really.
Yeah.
So we'll just have to see what happens the rest of the playoffs, but if those two are playing at maximum capacity, I'm not sure any team can beat them.
Graham, the Boston Celtics have not lost in the playoffs. And when you look at what happened in round 1 and now on to round 2, we still have Jazz and Nuggets. That game is tonight. But we're on to round 2, and the Celtics, with an 18-point win over a Toronto Raptors team that had not lost, is it possible that we could go all the way back and have another Celtics-Lakers championship series?
I think so. I mean, I like the way the Celtics quickly remade their roster. I love their young wings. I love the Kemba Walker move. I mean, I've always liked this team. I like the way Danny Ainge has put it together. I like Brad Stevens. I still think Milwaukee would be my pick, but Milwaukee's got to do it still, and that can be a hard hump to get to that level, to get to the finals for the first time. So I think Boston's got just as good a shot as Milwaukee, and I also would still take the Clippers on the other side, but I think those are your 4 teams.
Okay, and as soon as we say that the Celtics are going to be there, you know what that means? Raptors are going to come back and win in 6, right? Don't we do that a lot? The first game, we have a knee-jerk reaction to it. We'll be right back. Our Champions 2020 segment up next on Press Pass.
We are MEA, a foundation of collective strength, an advocate for education. K-12 educators, support professionals, and higher education employees, united to support our students, our schools, and our community. Together, we are the shield protecting every student's right to succeed. Michigan Education Association. Champions for education.
Culver's is a family restaurant. To me, that means being the place that puts a smile on everyone's face. We're famous for our cooked-to-order butter burgers and frozen custard made daily inside our restaurants. But we've always believed more menu options mean more ways to brighten your day. We source the finest chicken to bring you our tenders and chicken sandwiches. And our cheese curds. They're a Wisconsin tradition we're proud to share with you. So take the next meal shift off and let us take care of you. Welcome to Delicious.
The 3-Degree Guarantee, only on Fox 47 News.
A new day dawns and we greet it with gratitude, thankful for the heroes on the front lines taking big risks daily to keep us safe. We at Dean Transportation stand at the ready with them, supporting our communities in their time of need. We've been delivering food and medical supplies, volunteering our time, and boosting morale to keep spirits high. Our passengers may have temporarily changed, but our commitment to transporting your most precious cargo has never wavered. Dean Transportation, working together, delivering the good.
What's really important to me is being able to have a partner, and Dart Bank has been that for me. I'm Eric Nelson. I'm a managing partner here at the English Inn. I've worked with John Morris at Dart Bank to help put together multiple projects that have assisted us with growing our business and continuing to be successful.
From the violence and chaos in our world today, it's evident that the end is near. So exactly how will the world end? And what does the Bible say about the rapture and the second coming of Jesus Christ? Hi, I'm Robert Jeffress, and this month on Pathway to Victory, we'll discover the answers to those relevant questions about the end times. Join me for my series, Perfect Ending, on Pathway to Victory.
Welcome back to Press Pass here on Fox 47. Time for our Champions 2020 segment, brought to you by the Michigan Education Association. The MEA's members, educators from across our state, are proud of this year's high school graduates. Congratulations to each and every one of you. Learn more at mea.org. There was a tweet this week from Monty Rice, Georgia Bulldog, when we agreed with them on playing. It was no problem for us to speak up. But when we speak up, and it's going to be now, shut up and tackle. I think that is what a lot of players are wrestling with. And Graham, you can understand the uncertainty, you can understand the confusion, you can understand the mixed messaging.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that I've tried to gauge from players is, no group is monolithic. No group definitely wants to play. There are people who want to sit out. I think there are probably a lot of players who aren't or weren't as enthusiastic about this season. They're not going to sit out, but this wasn't necessarily something that they really want to be a part of either, but they're going to do whatever they go along with. And it's a really difficult situation for a lot of people when you don't feel like you have a place to speak. And I think there are still a lot of people who feel like there are repercussions to speaking how they feel or sitting out a season or whatnot.
Darien, there are no right answers. If people are looking for that, good luck. But how important is communication right now between coaches, players, administrators?
It's very important, mainly for the players, I think, because it's their livelihoods kind of at stake here, and their mental aptitude and just how they're feeling, I think, needs to be at the forefront of everyone's mind. The problem is, it's a tug and pull match from everybody on who's ultimately making the decisions. And when you have that situation, when you have a lot of different voices in the room saying a lot of different things, it's hard to facilitate the correct information to the party that needs to hear it. So that's the toughest part, I think, that any school is dealing with, especially the ones that have been told that they're not playing, and just leading up to that decision being made and the decision of when they're actually going to play. There's just no clear-cut plan right now, and it's difficult on the ones that actually have to go out there and play.
Graham, college football has always been a regional game. We see that now in the different approaches to this. We have seen what it means in the Southeast, maybe not so much in the Pacific Coast. Certainly the Big Ten is seen as an opinion shaper here. How much is the regionalism really showcased right now?
Oh, a ton. I mean, look, college football, I think it reflects society as much as anything, because what usually happens here, and you think about when people thought, well, if the Big Ten and Pac-12 do not play, and other people will follow suit, partly because there will be pressure on them. There will be political pressure. The political pressure in those regions is exactly the opposite. It is to play. And we're seeing that play out a ton. But regionalism has a lot to do with it too, and how important football is to Texas, to Florida, to Georgia, to places like that, I think is and that's why you see it in certain places, Nebraska, Ohio. Yeah. You see struggles there where it is everything, where it is life.
We talk about the religion factor in the Southeast, maybe going a little bit overboard. If you'd been recruited hard by Georgia, is it possible you'd have been a Bulldog and wouldn't have been sitting here?
No, I'd still be sitting here. I don't think anything would have deterred me from coming to Michigan State. And again, that's the beauty of recruiting. Everyone has to find where they're supposed to be, and the hope is that every student athlete ends up exactly where they're supposed to be, and I certainly did.
Graham Couch, ladies and gentlemen, hates hot weather. So he would like to have the SEC weather in November and December if the Big Ten tries to play games. It would be too icy, but wouldn't have the heat that they normally have down in the Southeast. We'll be right back with our Cool and Smooth Weekly Awards up next.
What's really important to me is being able to have a partner, and Dart Bank has been that for me. I'm Eric Nelson. I'm a managing partner here at the English Inn. I've worked with John Morris at Dart Bank to help put together multiple projects that have assisted us with growing our business and continuing to be successful.
Anyone who's had our chicken knows it's plump and juicy. What they may not know is that it's also 100% natural.
All our chickens are certified, humanely raised, no antibiotics, on a high-quality diet of soy and grain.
Why are they called tenders?
They're called tenders because they come from the tenderloin of the breast, hand-trimmed just for colors. It's not a strip or a finger, it is the true tenderloin.
I'll put our chicken tenders up against anybody's.
That's like my Granny Franklin used to make. That's outstanding, Craig.
Welcome to Delicious.
At Graff Chevrolet in Okemos, you'll always get a great deal on a huge selection of high-quality used cars and trucks. But you'll also get something else, peace of mind. Every Graff used vehicle purchase comes with up to 6 oil changes for the first 2 years of ownership. We'll also give you free tire rotation with every other oil change. Always a great selection of used vehicles starting from $1,000 and up. Check them out at graffokemos.com. Lower your cost of ownership with our Peace of Mind program, only at Graff Chevrolet in Okemos.
Experience the newest addition to the Soaring Eagle family, the Retreat at Soaring Eagle, in the middle of everything. The Retreat at Soaring Eagle is your luxury escape from the ordinary, with more fun, more thrills, more variety for the entire family. Splash into water park fun, game the night away, hit the golf course, or enjoy your favorite activities on our private lake. The Retreat at Soaring Eagle is in the middle of everything, with luxury that feels like a world away. The Retreat at Soaring Eagle. Make your reservation at retreatatsoaringeagle.com.
Welcome back to Press Pass here on Fox 47. Time for our Cool and Smooth segment. Brought to you by 4 great Culver's locations in mid-Michigan: Okemos North and South, North Lansing, and West Lansing. Since 1984, Culver's has been delighting guests one meal at a time with scrumptious butter burgers and premium frozen custard. Swing through any Culver's drive-thru and grab your fresh favorites. Could have him be a player of the week, but Pete Carroll, coach of the Seattle Seahawks, had some very strong words for his NFL coaching colleagues and coaches all around the country. And I'm sure there's going to be some resistance to him. You know what's happened with the Greg Popoviches and the Steve Kerrs of the world. Darien, what do you expect is going to happen as a result of what Pete Carroll said? People going to listen, or are they going to take umbrage?
I think you may get a few that listen. I think that regionally, we talked about that a lot tonight, and I'm not exactly sure how Seattle kind of operates, but West Coast, I would assume he wouldn't get as much pushback out there. Also, he's proven he's won a Super Bowl, been to another, probably should have 2. Maybe has the best team in the NFC. Winning matters as well. Unfortunately, when you're talking about these types of things, but I think that just his players knowing that he has their back, the rest of the league knowing that, and him kind of being, one of maybe the first and only NFL coaches, besides the minority coaches, to really be vocal in this, will hopefully motivate some others to do the same.
All right, Team 361, who has been as cool and smooth as a Culver's mint explosion this week? Darien, what do you have for us with our play of the week?
So play of the week, I would love to pick a true, sporting moment and something cool that happened on the field or the court. But I'm going to stick with what the NBA players kind of set in terms of an example for us. And my players of the week for this week will be Chris Webber, Doc Rivers, Robert Horry, and Troy Vincent. Those 4 stick out in my mind as 4, not speaking as athletes or executives in the NFL, but as 4 black men who gave extremely emotional testimonies on their various channels when they talked about police brutality and how it's affected them specifically. Specifically, when we talk about Robert Horry and Troy Vincent, when they talked about raising their sons and the fear they have for their sons to have to be in society and go out in the world and interact with police. I hope that people watch those and take it to heart and understand that this is real and it's traumatic and we need to do better, and we're trying to do better, and that's why everybody is pushing so hard for this country to heal itself.
There are athletes, coaches, administrators who do not support Black Lives Matter. We heard Brian Urlacher come out, and he was pretty harsh, and now the Bears are trying to disavow their relationship with him, a Hall of Famer. Be interesting to see how this all works out. Graham, what do you have for us for Team of the Week?
Well, I would love to say the Detroit Tigers because they won 5 straight, and I cannot remember the last time the Detroit Tigers won 5 straight, and it is fun to watch. However, I have to go with the Milwaukee Bucks because of what occurred this week, and also in my lifetime. I don't remember a team taking a stance like that in a playoff game to truly lead a boycott. And there was risk involved. These guys, took a chance, and they were frustrated. They felt a long way from something that was happening in their backyard in Kenosha, Wisconsin, and they took a stand. And for that, I think we should all be proud.
You wonder what's going to happen now. The president is coming to Kenosha this week, and he's going to give a speech. I don't know how many people think that will be a unifying address. It'd probably be a political speech, and you would hope that we would have some unity in the divided states of America. We shall see. Our player of the week, it's going to be anyone who listens. Right now, we have a lot more heat and noise than we have listening. We need everyone to just sit back, say less, learn more, and I think we might have a chance to at least get through this. I want to thank Darien Harris, Michigan State football's first Director of Player Engagement, and Graham Couch, sports and more columnist for the Lansing State Journal. You can catch him every afternoon on the Spotlight Radio Network. We'll see you next week, everyone. Have a great week.